Hey, do we want to wait till people join us, y'all? We don't have any joiners as of yet.
Is it
Yeah.
recording?
Yes, we are
Yeah, we live.
recording.
Okay.
We are live.
All right.
Hello, Facebook. We've got
I'm gonna
SilverFox
share.
Sonya here
I
with
don't
the
know how.
SilverFox Sonya podcast
Oh,
and her Foxies. We're going to give y'all all a little time to come in and join us today. Ladies, how are y'all doing?
Good.
great. It's Sunday.
Uh,
Preparing for a new work week.
yes.
I'm good, one step closer to another vacation. So
Right.
Amen to that.
So, y'all, welcome to the SilverFox Sonya podcast. I'm here today with the Foxies, and today we are starting our first episode of Dating Shenanigans. And our topic for today is recycles. How many of you all out there have been recycling your relationships? Any of y'all out there? Especially since we've been in this pandemic. We've been locked up in the house. Have you called somebody back that you said, I ain't talking to them anymore. It's over. It's done. But now that we've been locked up in the house, we decided to recycle. But before we get started with the recycle, I want everyone to introduce themselves since this is my first time coming on with them live. Where we want to start? Lauren, would you like to start first and introduce yourself?
sure. So you would just want me to say where I'm from, how we met. What would you like me to tell your
Sure. Lauren,
audience?
introduce yourself, how we met,
Mhm.
and also mention what you do on IG if people would like to follow you
That's
on
so
IG.
funny. Okay.
Shameless
So
plug.
shameless plug, right? Hi everybody. So my name is Lauren Melissa. I met I call her my Auntie Sonya. I met her and Shamarian. Well, I met Auntie Sonya first. At Essence Fest. Can you believe it? And we just so happened to be staying in the same house. Just as by happenstance. And it was like an instant connection. And like that was my rollie. We was just rolling out. So we were gonna try to do Essence again, and then Corona hit. So she's gonna be my Essence buddy from now and moving forward. And now we're Foxies together. Look at that. And then my best friend moved to Houston, and I was like, Auntie Sonya lives there. So then I connected with Auntie Sonya. I introduced her to my bestie, and y'all gonna meet her soon. And then I met Shamarian. And so then now we've become one big happy family. And so it's just been fate. You can find me, you can reach me, beat me, page me, however, on Instagram. Lauren Melissa M. She likes to say I look super young. I'll let y'all be the judge. Y'all can guess my age. We could play the guessing game however y'all want to. Lauren Melissa M is how you can find me on Instagram. All social media platforms, Twitter, whatever, all that jazz. And I do Lunch with Lauren. So yeah, Lunch with Lauren is a thing, and yeah, it's really cool. So follow me. And I can't wait to interact with y'all. Y'all finna be taking on a wild journey because dating shenanigans is real, because dating these days is ghetto.
And
It
is.
is ghetto.
And is.
I hate it here.
Yeah.
Okay, so who we got next? Who's introducing themselves next?
I can go next. Hi guys. Hi Foxies. My name is Kendra. I met Miss SilverFox through Lauren. Maybe sometime last year during the pandemic, right? That was a few months ago. And we got to talking and had just a wonderful time. That's where I met Shamarian as well. Lauren's my best friend since high school, so I've been knowing her. But yeah, I live in Houston and she lives in Michigan. We grew up there together. So she came down to visit, and that's how we all met. And we got to talking, and here we are. I'm super excited to be here and talk about the ghetto with you guys and hear what y'all have going on out there as well and what struggles y'all are having with these dating shenanigans. Um, I'm not a super huge social media person, but I am on social media at Miss Black Barbie to you. So come follow me. Like Lauren said, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I'll hand it over to Shamarian.
Okay. I'm Shamarian. Funny story how I know Sonya. Especially with this being dating shenanigans. She used to date my brother. Not only did she date my brother, she was married to him for what, 17 years, Sonya? 17 years, I believe. So Sonya came into my life when I was around 10 years old. 10 years old, and she hadn't left. I mean, they've since divorced, and they've been divorced for a while, but I tell people all the time, she's no longer my sister-in-law, because they're not married, but she's my sister. I love her like my sister. It just shows, how family does not have to be, blood. She's been around since I was 10. She's not going nowhere. Not only is she now my sister, she graduated from my sister-in-law to my sister. She's one of my best friends. I tell her just about everything, especially when it comes to dating. Me dating safely, like I give her all the tea. She give me all the tea. So that's how I know her. And we just kind of been joined at the hip ever since. I met Lauren through Sonya. And then, of course, I met Kendra through Lauren, which was also through Sonya as well. Lauren came down to Houston to visit. And I was getting off work one day, and I think I had to stop by Sonya's for something. And Lauren and Kendra was there. And then that's how I met them. So we all just, we were just sitting around and, eating some good food, having some drinks and conversing. And we just all kind of clicked. And that's how we met.
So yeah, Foxies. All of my Foxies that have been listening to me from Momentary Marriage to 17 years a wife to now we're at Dating Shenanigans. So today's topic is recycle. How often have you recycled a person that you dated? They should have went out in the trash, but you decided to recycle them. And then, I guess it's like that song, the popular song that's out, Silk Sonic, Bruno Mars. I'ma leave the door open. No. We got to shut these doors, y'all. We got to shut these doors. So, in dating shenanigans and recycling, after I got my divorce, so I was on my way to the end of my divorce, I reconnected, ladies, with the guy I dated in high school. The guy that my cousin wanted me to go see instead of hooking up with Momentary Marriage. So, talking to him off and on from 2011 to 2014. So, it started off as friends. We'd go have drinks. I'd be like, nah, he got to get his stuff together. He'd come back. We'd go out a couple of more times. But he just wasn't adding up. And let me tell you, one night we went to a concert. Both of our birthdays were in October. So we went to a concert. He was going to pay for his ticket. I was going to pay for my ticket. It was Charlie Wilson, Fantasia, Kim. Oh, it was one other.
Sound like a lit concert.
It was
I
a
like,
lit concert.
That's a nice lineup right
That's
there.
that's
It
that's
was
a more than
a
enough reason
lit.
for you to keep the door open, okay?
Okay.
I had on my bodycon dress,
Snap.
bamming.
Okay, sis.
We go to the concert. This man didn't compliment me and tell me I look nice. Nothing. Yeah. All of this in a bodycon dress. If y'all don't know what a bodycon dress is, Google bodycon dresses and you'll see what come up.
And if you've never seen SilverFox before
I
in
was
her
just about to
body,
say.
then you know something wrong.
And it wasn't revealing. Everything was covered. It just flowed. So we get to the concert. We enjoying the concert. All of a sudden, he said he got to leave because his child is at home sick. Well, we rode together. So I'm like, oh. So the only person I got to see was Kim. Didn't get to see Fantasia. Didn't get to see, it's Charlie Wilson. Charlie Wilson, Kim, Fantasia. I don't know, but we had to leave the concert early, y'all. Come to find out later, I think it was somebody there at the concert that he knew, but this was much later that I found that out. But then he tells me a week after the concert, oh, that concert, by the way, you look nice that night. Yeah, y'all. So we stopped talking again. And then, I went on some dating sites or whatever and dated some other guys for a while. And then he got his stuff together, was getting his business up, invited me to go to church with him. And I was like, okay. So started going to church with him. And this is probably 2011, we talked. I think 2012, 2013 is when he called back and said, let's go to church together. I want to do the right thing. I like you. He was talking about getting married, all this other stuff. So I'd go to church with him. But then sometimes at church, he was so active with the pastor that sometimes after church, he really didn't talk to me. So I'd see him here and there. He was always at church. During this time, it was like April of 2013. I was in the process of moving, packing up my house. So he was all hands on deck, whatever I needed. He was packing up stuff, and really, without him, I don't know what I would have done. So he helps me pack up this house, and this was how big was that house, Shamarian? About 3,000 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It was a nice size house, and it had lots of storage.
And you had lots of stuff.
Yeah, because I decorate homes. I decorate people's homes. It was a garage full of stuff. The house was full of stuff. Every wall, closet, whatever was full. So, long story short, let me rush through this and get through this. He helps me pack up that house, and not only pack up that house, but by the time I get to this house, wait, I left something out. In between me packing up that house, closing on this house, we had a death in the family. So my family, my uncle passed away. I almost think it's about this time. He passed away. Yeah, I want to say it was April of 2013. And the family called me to call the whole family and tell the family. Funeral was like quick. So we had to hurry up and get out of town. So at that time, we go out of town, family leaves. And while I'm on the road with my family, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, shoot. I had given him a key to the house because he was helping me pack up my house and take stuff out my house to bring to storage. Some said, dang it, you didn't change the code on the alarm code. I was like, he ain't gonna go to my house. I ain't worried about it. And then I kept other closets locked. So if somebody did come in the house, they had to break in those doors too. So Foxies, I get back home. I check my house. My house was immaculate. It was clean. Nothing was out of order. So, I go check the trash can to see if somebody been in the house, if it's stuff in the sink, nothing. It wasn't until a week later, he at my house, I'm packing up, and my laundry, when I fold my clothes, my towels are folded a certain way and put up a certain way. Everything's in order. So I'm packing stuff and he's in there helping me pack stuff. And I was like, I go in my linen closet. I was like, I didn't fold these towels like this. Because, my child at that time, he wasn't folding laundry, at least not my laundry. So I was like, that's weird. And it kept bothering me. And so he's sitting on, I had this big, huge tub in my master bedroom. And I had these stairs that go up to it. And he was sitting there on the stairs and he was like, you just worried about the wrong thing. And I'm like, am I? And I look at those towels again and I'm thinking, I'm like, I haven't washed towels in about a week and a half or what. I'm like, I said, oh, okay. So I went over to my alarm code and I took his code out. I said, you can no longer get in my house. Now, he never admitted that he was there when I wasn't there, but Negro stayed in my house when I wasn't there. He just didn't want to tell me, and I hope and pray to God he had no other woman in there. But anyways, so we pack up that house, move into this house. I don't know what it is, and my mom says this all the time. I don't know how it is you always find these Jacobs. Y'all know what a Jacob is?
It depends on what.
Spiritual, Jacob.
Oh, okay.
They want to work for you. Jacob worked for, was it Rachel? Jacob wanted Rachel in the Bible? That's okay, never mind. Okay, so anyways, when I purchased this house was filthy McNasty. The people that lived here, they smoked, they never cleaned, they had pets, they didn't vacuum. You open the front door, it was foul. So I came home one day, when I tell you this man had ripped up all the carpet and everything was out on the street, like within 2 hours. He was trying to get up in here.
I was just trying to earn his keep.
He was trying to earn his keep. So, and Foxies, I guess I could say, I loved this man. He was that high school love. He was the guy that you're walking down the hallway and you stop in your tracks. You'd be like, "Ooh, who is that? That's going to be my man." And that's just how I played it. And the same stuff he did in high school, he was doing in his grown life. So I shouldn't have even recycled that. So Foxies, why do we recycle? And then the worst part of that, one of my girlfriends that I work with, she didn't like him from the first time she met him. But when he came back and was trying to get with me, after he got my house in order and helped me do this, I still could see things wasn't adding up. So at church, he was ignoring me because he was really talking to somebody else at church, but didn't want me to know. So this is how I find out and put 2 and 2 together. So pastor comes up to me and says, I hear, that Joshua may need some help. If you need help with Joshua or anything, you can come to the church and we'll help you. And I'm like, okay. He said, no, really, if you need us, we'll help you. Okay. And I'm thinking, I called my cousin and told her about it. She's like, why would he say that? I said, I don't know. But he used to tell me that he used to have to take care of his brother's child because his brother was always out of town and take him to tutoring and do this and do that. Lo and behold, that was his way to cover up for other stuff he was doing. So he told the pastor that he was helping me with my child. That's the reason I was still coming to church and always calling him, but yet he was dating somebody else in the church and ended up proposing to her.
This is wild.
But prior to proposing to her, he went to my
Kendra, he a
coworker.
wild boy.
Prior to prior to proposing to this lady, he went to my best friend that I work with and told her, I want to get her, I want to marry her, I love her, this, that, and the other, da, 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 da. And at this time, I'm like, I'm done with him. It's over. So she helps him to try to get me. But everything, and then took him out to dinner to Papa Do's, fed him everything, gave him this book, a whole list of stuff to do for me, and then turned around and did it for the other woman. So why do we recycle men, y'all? Why?
I was just having this conversation, because I know we were talking about this today. I feel like it's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes you just do it, like you said. We've been quarantining, and you reach back because you like, I've been in the house all day or whatever. Sometimes I feel like it's like soul ties to people. Like some people you just can't get rid of. I don't know if you guys believe in soul ties, but I'm definitely beginning to think it's a thing. And for those of you who don't know what soul ties are, it's like when you have an emotional or spiritual connection to somebody that you messed around with before, and you feel like you can't get away from them. Something to always bring y'all back together, which is the recycling.
Mhm.
I'm usually one to cut people off, but I feel like there's definitely a thing where, like you said, maybe you just love that person that much that you just decide, maybe we could try this again. Maybe it'll work this time, right? So you keep going back, but clearly it's not changing. I would say a big reason maybe love.
I think, yeah, for me too, for me, it was comfortability, right? Like it
Mhm.
was, yeah, it didn't work out. And I always attribute it to time. Timing is everything. So I'd be like, okay, maybe the timing wasn't right. We're a little bit older. We've grown a little bit. We've been through some things. Let's try it again in this space and time. And I'm comfortable with you. I know where, I know where you lack, or I know where you messed up. So I know I'm gonna look out for these things in this new quote unquote space and time. Again, I've learned now not to pick up old things, old habits. You leave them where they are. But it was a hard lesson, like for me. And when you said like this whole narrative, like, oh, I wanted to marry her, like I definitely got that from my recyclable guy, where we literally, I guess, tried to start over 3 and 4 times, and in that third or fourth time it was like, okay, we said to each other, if this is not it, we're not going to try it again. And here we were the very last time trying it again. Then that's when the whole marriage thing came up, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, we were talking real stuff, like going to counseling, like we're going to do premarital counseling, we're going to do all these things that made me think that this was serious. And then here come the games, right? I was like, okay, like I thought we were over that. That was the first and second try. So what's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Shame on me.
That it's like at this point, yeah, all this is on me, because I could have prevented it and walked away the second time. Yeah, over.com.
Yeah, well, I don't really do recycling. My dating experience has been a little bit different because I've been a single parent since I was like 17 years old. So when you're working, going to school, raising a child by yourself, I don't have time for games. So when I cut you off, I cut you off. Like I haven't double dipped, because I'm just like, there's so many other things I can be doing with my time than sitting up here watching you play games with my emotions. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, the time I'm wasting on you, I could be spending it with my child. I can be resting. I can be doing something else. So I really haven't, I really don't recycle. And don't get me wrong, like I give people grace. And we're nobody's perfect. We're all human. Everybody makes mistakes. And then, you when you're learning a person, you have to be open to, learning that person and accepting things and working through stuff. So once I've done that, and you still want to act a donkey, I'm out. Like I don't have time for it. I'm just like, bye. And then the thing that always stuck at the back of my mind too is just like, what am I teaching my daughter? You know what I'm saying? Like the things I put up with, would I want her to put up with that? Would I want somebody to treat her that way? So I didn't really recycle. It's like once I cut you off, I was gone. I'm just moving on to the next. And most of the time the next was by myself, but I was like, you know what, that's fine. I'm at peace right now. I don't have time for games. Let me rest up and, just kind of get my mindset ready to date the next one. So yeah.
And my issue is like great, like too much grace. Like I gave so much grace, and it's like you when I think about it, and I've done so much like self work and been really introspective, but it's like growing up, and whether or not you grew up in the church or in and out of church or just no church at all, you were never really taught how much is too much grace. Like there's no such thing as too much grace, right? So you just, if you're anything like me, you just be like grace, 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 like you just extend grace, and then hindsight 2020, you be like, dang, I just got trampled over, like and it don't feel good, but I just thank God for growth, and I thank God that I don't like harbor any hard feelings. Like if I ever see him in the street, I will never be like, I hope a bus hit you. Like I would never do that, but like no hard feelings. But like I wish the best for him. But yeah, I just think like, dang, nobody ever taught you like, grace is such a good thing to extend, but be careful and think there are things to look out for. But that's just something I thought of, like hindsight 2020, of like, okay, there is a such thing as like giving too much grace.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And it's unfortunate too, because it's like one of the downsides to that is like when you're kind and you do extend grace, they think that you don't see the bull, that they're doing. And, you do get trampled on, you are taken for granted. And it's just, I don't know, it's just really just like unfortunate, it's just like, you have a good heart and you're there to work it out, and and then they just think that you don't see it, or you dummy, or, you're a dummy. And I'm just like, you know what? No.
It's hard to draw that line or know when to say when.
Yeah.
Or like if it's like, am I giving up too easily? Or am I just being crazy and I just need to let it go, So knowing, like you said, how much grace to give, like when is it time to say, okay, this is enough. We probably shouldn't try this again. Because people make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. We're all human. So of course something might happen once or twice, but like you said, going back and forth for years, like when it's hard to figure out when to say when.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like Lauren was saying, it's the familiarity, and you just get comfortable with that person. And sometimes we don't want to take the time to date others and get to know them, because you'd be like, I know this mess over here. I'd rather deal with what I know rather than what was that?
I'd rather deal with this mess. Like this mess don't stink as much as that mess.
Yeah. And then, or either you say to yourself, I know this mess, I got it, and this mess could be worse. And do I really want to start over?
I was just gonna say that the amount of time it takes to get to know someone, especially in this day and age, considering the year we just had, right? I joked about it when we went into quarantine, but I was like halfway serious. dating during this pandemic, this panoramic, this Panasonic has been ridiculous. Like, you know, wearing a mask. I mean, people already, you know, be trying to trick you with fronts and all types of stuff. Now you got to
Catfishing
deal
out
with
here.
catfishing. Now we got to deal with the mask, and you don't know if they got teeth or not. Okay, then you take the mask off, and
Like,
they have
oh.
none at all. Then you got to backtrack all the compliments you just gave and be like, "Hold up, pimpin'. Like, I'm sorry, but I thought you had a whole mouth full of
Lauren,
pearly
tell me
whites,
that
but you
happened
don't."
to you. Tell me you just using that as a scenario.
Look, you got to keep watching, keep tuning in to the to get the deets. Okay, I can't give you all the stories these days,
Right.
but not all at one time. But like, I just think about, you know, just dating, and it's like, God, just the process of getting to know someone right now versus being like, I'd rather put up with your mess and unpack that than try to get to know this during this. Like, it's just a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
But I think this is the best time to get to know people.
That's what I thought.
Because, I mean, we have Zoom. You can Zoom people, you can FaceTime. There's no reason that you really couldn't be dating during this time. I mean, it's the safest time. You ain't got to worry about catching corona. You ain't got to kiss nobody. I'm a germaphobe, number one. And before coronavirus, I was bad. And I know now I'm really like, okay, do I really want you to breathe on me? You know, not only do you need to do a COVID test, sexual test, or, you know, STD test, but this is the safest time to date and get to know someone.
You would think that. You would think that, and you would think people would be a little bit more open to online dating because it is safer. I know I tried it. I was like, okay, you know, the world has, you know, calmed down and shut down, and, you know, maybe I should give online dating a try, you know, when people are very aware of what's going on, you know, throughout this pandemic. So you think it would be easier because it is safer. And when the guy told me, like, we were going back and forth, we exchanged numbers, and then he said, I think within 2 weeks, he was like, so when are you off? And, you know, I'm typically working like 6-7 days a week, not unless I just decide to take off. But I told him, and then he was like, I said, well, no, I have to work this weekend. And he said, so when I'm gonna see you? I said, FaceTime, Zoom, WhatsApp, like that's what technology is for. And, you know, just me personally, you know, because I work in healthcare, and I'm exposed to a lot of stuff, and, you know, I'm not comfortable at this point right now just doing like in-person dating. You know, I think I see things are getting better, but I'm just like, thought that was the whole purpose of online dating, and you would be a little bit more aware of what's going on and, you know, put some effort into online dating. But he was like, so when I'm gonna see you? I'm like, FaceTime, Zoom, WhatsApp. I mean, pick an app, choose it. You can see me any day, you know, whenever you want in the comfort of your home. But I'm just like, okay, let me pull back a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so difficult. Y'all said y'all think it's easy. I'm not very tech savvy, so that's number one. And number two, I'm very old school, traditional when it comes to dating. Like, I want to talk and, you know, be around somebody.
She
So
want to
it's
be
hard.
wined and dined.
what women don't?
we all want to be wined and dined, right?
What women don't?
Exactly. And so in these times when you're trying to virtual date or, you know, do a little Zoom, whatever, people getting creative. So I like to see the creative side of people as far as like the dating, like you said, when I'm gonna see you, and you saying like, well, I don't feel comfortable with that. So he could have did something, you know, like set up a little Zoom date or whatever, you know, and y'all eat dinner or lunch together or something. I like the whole, you know, learning who creative, but minus that, I want to be like physically around someone, and that makes it more difficult because Corona is going on. So I feel like it's more difficult for me.
Yeah.
Now I have been someone did like take me out on a virtual date, and it was cute. It was a little awkward, but it was cute. Like I got like he door dashed food to my house. Now we didn't stay in the same
That was
we didn't stay in the same state, so he didn't live here. So it was definitely interesting for him to like it was logistically it was a little interesting to try to figure out restaurants and stuff like that. And so how it happened, and I'm giving away free game for people that's watching. So how it happened was food got delivered. He texted me, he was like, okay, did you get it? Because obviously he got notified when it got delivered. I was like, yep, I got it. He was like, okay, well, don't eat it until we get on the call. We're going to eat together. And I said, okay. So got on the call, we ate together. And then after we finished eating, he was like, okay, we're going to jump on a different platform and we're going to play games. And the platform was House Party, if y'all know what House Party is. And we played games on House Party. And I'm sure he had some other stuff planned, but I had other things planned. Also, I can only do so much FaceTime on a virtual platform because understand most of us work on a computer all day long. So imagine having to be on a computer for 8 hours of the day and then be on a virtual date for 2+ hours. Like that's just a long time to be on the computer. And as much as I was like interested in him, I was just over being on a computer altogether. So like to Kendra's point, it's great. Like we could totally try it out, but like there is this element of being face to face. Someone asked the question in the chat: is it true that a woman's intuition helps you to know what's good and not good for you? I guess they want to know. So I'll let someone chime in. I know the answer to the question, but I want to give someone else an opportunity to answer that question.
Can you ask that question again?
Yeah. Is it true that a woman's intuition helps you to know what's good and not good for you?
Yes.
And
It helps you to know. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to listen to it, which is why you get back into these situations where you're recycling men again. Like, yes, I know, like, you probably shouldn't be doing this. Like, that gut feeling, no, I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I'm going to test the waters. I like to have a little fun. I don't know.
I can say for me, since I'm older than the three of you all, at this point in my life, I know you can't tell, can you? Don't crack.
You look good, girl.
Thank you. But you get to a point in your life that intuition is there and you've ignored it and you've gotten tired of going through the same thing over and over again, that you're like, I'm not doing it. When I hear it in that intuition, for me, and let me speak for me, when that intuition hits me now, I pay attention.
Yeah.
When I'm a Christian woman, God speaks to me all the time or shows me stuff through the Holy Spirit, signs, wonders, all of that. So when he shows me who someone really is,
Preach.
I believe it. Giving people grace and mercy. Yeah, I give people grace. I give people mercy. But at this point in my life, it's become what I want, not always what somebody else wants or needs. So you have to make yourself happy and never ignore that intuition. It's 100.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
No, I mean, I totally agree. And people call it different things, energy, intuition, discernment, whatever it is, it's there. And I think I've gotten to a point, very similar to Sonya, like once something interferes with my peace, I'm just like, that's enough, Grace. Like that's enough. And, you know, if it makes me uncomfortable, you know, it takes me out of my routine, it interferes with my peace, I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. Because at this point in my life as well, it's like my happiness is priority. My peace is priority. And it's just a lot of stuff I don't want to be, you know, be bothered with. And I recall a situation a couple of years ago to where it was just something off about this dude I was dating. And first thing I noticed, I was like, he's not consistent, you know, and it was just he wasn't consistent. I kept catching him, you know, in a lot of lies, and it was just something stirring up in me. And I just like really started praying about him. Like I started praying about him and just asking God to reveal him to me, you know, and what his intentions was and what was going on, because I just started I was like, something is not right. Like I couldn't put my finger on it, but something is not right. So yeah, we most definitely had that intuition. And it's like once I prayed about it, I kind of started paying more attention and listening. And it wasn't to where I catch him in something and call him out. It's just like, okay, mental note, check. All right, got that. And, you know, after a certain point, I was like, you know what, God showed me so much about him. I was just like, this Negro here, I mean, it was a hot mess. But yeah, we most definitely are born with that intuition. For me, I call it discernment. And pay attention to it. Most definitely pay attention to it. You got to watch them and watch people's energy, especially when they're in your space.
I do think women know, like, this is for the men that are watching, women know more than you think that they know. Yeah. And they are not saying what they know, right? Yeah. So I just don't underestimate the power of a woman and don't underestimate what they know. For me, the guy that I kept recycling, I had a laundry list of things that I knew and that I had an intuition about, that I was like, okay, this ain't right. This seems funny, to Shamarian's point. And I felt it. And some stuff I had proof of, some stuff I didn't need proof. I just knew. And I'm like, I can piece stuff together, and my friends know, like, I am the master investigator. I can find something out in the blink of an eye.
She's the best of the best, okay? If you need her, hire her. She will find anything, any dirt, anybody, anywhere.
Yes. And at the end of it all, I looked at that list and I was like, Self, you allowed this to go on longer than it needed to. You had this list way before things collided the way it did. Yeah. You know, so women know.
Yeah.
They definitely know. And to that point, like with the intuition, or going back to the recycling too, I feel like we fall in love with potential and possibility instead of listening to that intuition sometimes. So we're thinking about the future, like, well, you know, this is good and that's good, and let's look at the positive in it, instead of, you know, really like Shamarian was saying, like, you know, I'm taking mental note of this, but obviously we still are there because we see some type of potential in the possibility of things that could happen in the future. These comments are funny. Somebody says, if somebody real, they're winding down you online, like Lauren said.
That's right. They'll make a way. They make time for what they want. They'll make a way.
Yes.
Don't accept the excuses. They'll make a way.
So I don't know if anybody follows Amanda Seals on Instagram.
Yeah,
but if you do, she was it about 3 days ago, she had made a post about like this whole idea of like dating the potential of a person. And she was like, you know, most women like fall in love with like this potential, right? You see them in this role of like, oh, they're a great father, they're a great whatever, you know, they're really great at their job, and you know, because they're great in all of these other areas, they're going to be great for me. But then they end up either treating you bad or treating you like trash, and you're like, oh, they're going to come around because they're great in all these other areas, they're going to be great to me, they just need to kind of develop or they need to grow. And it's like, well, no, they're just not good for you, they're not great for you, they just, just not going to show up for you. So y'all should go watch her video. But like, that's she hit the nail on the head. And like, somebody had like sent her a DM, and it had like all of these like really, really important points about just how we have to stop with this whole idea of like, just because they're great in all these other areas doesn't mean they're going to show up and be great for you. They're just not.
I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sound like a project.
I know.
It is a project. Yeah.
No projects.
Not in this season.
Right.
Not at this age. Not in this season. Like, no. Sorry.
You gotta come already ready made.
That's right.
But then we have to be ready made as well.
This is very true.
Yeah.
So if we want that ready made man, we have to be ready too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
Lauren, not the yikes face.
Well, no, I just said yikes because it just took me back to that conversation of like, me and one of my other homegirls are having a conversation of like, oh, well, like, what does this ready look like? And we were debriefing a conversation. I was on somebody else's live. Okay. And that was a whole nother story. And, just talking about, like, I was saying how I feel like I've prepared myself and got my ducks in order. And, I feel like my expectations for who I want is okay. Like, I shouldn't lower my standards, all of these things. In which the show I was on, they were basically attacking what I wanted and saying like my standards are too high and why should I feel like I should want these type of men, blah, 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 right? And so I'm just like, they're like, well, you doing all that doesn't mean that you're going to make a great wife. That doesn't mean anything. I'm like, excuse me, what? So what do you ladies feel like is preparing yourself? What does that look like? If I can ask.
You definitely have to heal before you deal. If you've gone through, use myself as an example, being married for 17 years and going through what I went through, divorcing and starting to date, I should have at least, I can't put a time limit on it, but I should have waited. Because, well, number one, first, he wouldn't allow me to date. Not that he was stopping me, but he was always blocking me.
Girl, I was
literally.
To say, you talked about your ex-husband, you talked about God. Like, let's clarify.
The ex-husband was blocking.
Oh. Okay.
So he was always causing commotion with people I would date.
Oh, he's been an ex, basically.
Well, yeah, because remember that time?
Yeah, I do.
What time?
Foxies, I had a date over at my house. We had went out to dinner or whatever. And when we got a divorce, he went to go stay with someone for a while. And he had left his TV and all the other stuff still at the house until he got his own place. So
I didn't know that.
I would have friends and company over, and he would get mad because he's like, ain't no other gonna watch TV on my big screen TV. So he came and got his TV.
I was about to say, well, then you need to pack it up and take it with you.
Well, he did come back and get it. He came back and got his stuff. But I had went out on a date. We were talking. I was sitting in my bedroom because that's where the TV was. And we're just sitting there talking about kids, family. And all of a sudden I hear this knock on my window. I'm like, what the hell? Sonya. I'm like, so he's knocking on the window while I have a date trying to block. And really, it scared me because I never thought he would do something like that. So Number one, I should have taken the time to heal before, because you just got to take the time to heal, because you bring that stuff in to something else when you're not healed, and it just causes confusion in the relationship you're trying to develop.
Yeah.
And then when you have stuff like that coming at you too, you know, they mad, it's drama. So you got to heal first to be ready to date. You got to work on yourself. You got to make sure your heart is good, and you know, you're not taking what you left to somebody else and then looking at that man like he's doing the same thing that the man you had prior did to you. You know, you start blaming them and thinking that, you know, yeah, you're doing the same stuff. You got to heal first. You really do.
Yeah. And most definitely heal, you know. And I would have to say too, what does preparing ourselves looks like, as well in the process healing. So I know, like, after my divorce, there was so much that went on that I blamed him for. So like once we finally separated and we knew the divorce was going to happen, I actually took the time to just like sit and ask God, okay, Lord, I know he did this, he did this, he did that. I didn't like this, but what did I do? Like, what did I do? Show me what I did. Show me where I was wrong, so I don't take these next issues into my relationship. And, you know, we got married young. I was in my early 20s at the time. So we were, you know, pretty young, you know, had kids. So it was a learning phase for us. And so I know, like, throughout the marriage, and then once, you know, the divorce was on the table, I was looking at everything he did wrong, you know. And then, like, once we split, I'm like, okay, Lord, what did I do? You know, what did I do wrong? Show me, show me what I did. And he did, you know, he revealed those things to me, and I wouldn't dare. And I'm glad he did, because it showed me my error and my fault and how, you know, it affected him, you know. And I'm glad he showed me, because I wouldn't dare take those issues or some of the stuff I said to him, because baby, my tongue will cut you like it wasn't anything. Like I can hurt his feelings real quick, you know. But you know, that plays a part, you know, on him, and probably caused him to react the way he reacted. So I'm just like, I want to learn to, you know, talk to the next person I'm in a relationship. I want to learn how to talk to my husband. I want to learn to encourage him a little bit more. You know, I don't want to be so hot-headed. You know, I don't want to be so judgmental. So he showed me all those things, you know, that I did, and, you know, some of the stuff that I said, you know, in our marriage. And I'm just like, and at this point, I'm like, I wouldn't dare talk to somebody like that. You know, I'm like, that is so mean. That is so wrong. So
disrespectful.
Very, very disrespectful. And didn't have to cuss you out. Didn't have to cuss you out at all. He used to tell me all the time, like, you know, you got a smart, you know, you got a smart mouth and this, that. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. I take pride in it. And then I took pride in it. But, you know, and I used it to my benefit, you know. But yeah, I most definitely ask, you know, God to show me, like, in the healing phase, like, what did I do wrong? Show me, show me what I did, because I don't want to treat my next husband like that. I want to be a better wife to him.
That self-reflection is very important. Like, I'm still learning and growing and getting to know myself in, you know, this whole dating process, or being in those long-term relationships is definitely a point where you got to stop and be like you said, look at yourself. Like,
Yeah.
What did I do wrong in this situation? Like, of course, you know what he did, because you can always pinpoint what other people do.
Exactly.
It's just a lot more difficult to look at yourself and, you know, pinpoint that on yourself. So it's a process. What was the initial question? Let's run that back.
How are we preparing ourselves?
Oh, right. I Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties over here. But I think that to preparing yourself looks like being ready for whatever it is you're asking from someone. Like, are you that ideal partner? You know what I mean? And that goes with the self-reflection. Am I talking to someone the way that I want them to talk to me? And so mirroring the person that you want, I feel like is what you should be doing to prepare. So that's what I'm trying to do. Be a better me, and you're supposed to mirror your other half. You see them, you see me.
Yeah.
Also, Kendra has a pit bull over there, so if you hear that, it's she got the whole.
I have two doggies, and they are making lots
wrestling.
of sorry.
And Kendra got.
This will have work from home. Look.
I think most of my preparation definitely comes from self-reflection, therapy, and because I have not had the luxury of having long-term relationships, like years worth, right? Like, unfortunately. So I think that's where my hesitation comes from. So yeah. But my preparation is just like the confidence in myself that I'll be able to kind of hold my own, and just the ideals and values that have been given to me, passed down to me, and morals from my parents, my mom, and just how I was brought up. And it's what I value and what I want in my family, my own personal family, of what I want to pass down. I think where most young people go wrong is they enter into these instant families or these relationships when they don't have values that are already kind of they don't have values that they want, right? They can't articulate how they want their future to look, or what what they want their future to look like. So then they end up pregnant, or they have kids, and then they have to have these conversations with said baby daddy or baby mama, whatever, right? And then when they find out that it doesn't align, then that's when turmoil comes, or disengagement happens. So in my mind, it's okay, if I have these things in place, I'm able to articulate that, I feel like it's a starting point. So I mean, and of course I have things laid out, got a house, got my own stuff. I'm coming to the table with something. It's not like I'm coming to a table empty. So yeah, those are the things.
And I think a part of preparing ourselves too is you can't go into a relationship expecting that person to complete you. I feel like part of preparing yourself is being your whole self, identifying with what makes you happy, what puts you at peace, what makes you complete. So when you do link up with that person, whatever you thought he was going to bring to the table, to make you whole, is not it. I feel like you should already come to the table whole as an individual. And that's part of, aligning yourself up for what you're praying for. You have to figure out who you are, what makes you happy, what puts you at peace. Be your own happiness. Don't look for it in a relationship. It's supposed to get better. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to actually elevate your level of happiness up, but it's not supposed to, form your happiness. So just being whole as an individual, whatever that consists of.
I agree. I agree with all of that. Foxies, that was good. We're at an hour here. Yes, we have been on here an hour.
Wow.
And We were talking about recycling. Did anybody else have a recycle story? Was I the only one who told a recycle story?
No, Lauren told her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we
okay.
all kind of like touched on one. Kendra kind of talked
Okay.
about her experience.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: Earth Day is April 25th. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Okay. Yes.
That was an awesome ending, Kendra. What? The teacher in her is coming out. Teacher Bay is
I'm a
here.
science teacher. Here we go.
That was funny.
So,
Okay.
Foxies, anybody else got anything else before I close us out? No? So, Foxies, that's been... Oh, you are welcome. Thank y'all for being a part. I truly, truly thank God for y'all and in that connection we had some months ago sitting at my bar. But Foxies that join in on my podcast will be back probably week after next. I would definitely post the flyer of the date that we'll come back. I know some of us got some vacations coming up, so we may have to go 3 weeks, but yeah,
Nice.
probably me too. I'm ready to get away too.
Pack me in y'all suitcases.
I know, right?
I asked y'all if y'all wanted to go. Lauren was going somewhere. I asked both of y'all. I asked.
We'll talk about that.
We will, because I said I wanted to go. You said because she wasn't going.
No. But
Okay.
We're gonna go somewhere. We're gonna go somewhere. We'll vlog the whole thing.
Oh, on a trip on an island, a
The
beach.
Foxies.
Okay.
Foxies take somewhere. And then I'll vlog it and we'll put it up so y'all can see. Yeah, but so y'all can see.
How the Foxies stop recycling, huh? It's gonna be a new thing, a new thing. So y'all, thank y'all for joining the Foxies, the SilverFox Sonya podcast with the Foxies. And those of you all who made comment that you want to be included on the show, I have not forgotten about you. Your names are on my list and I will be reaching out to you. So y'all, we have some men that want to join us. So
Hey,
they're gonna give some sound advice.
I was about to say, they ready to receive? Are they ready?
I'm going to see. So y'all, thank y'all for joining in for the SilverFox Sonya podcast. Hopefully our next shows can be a little more comical for you all, but we just wanted to come and introduce ourselves to you all so y'all can see the Foxies on the SilverFox Sonya podcast. Y'all have a blessed evening and a blessed week. And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Toodles.